evening to everybody. Welcome to another edition of Libertas. This is your host, Tonino Habana. I'd like to greet all the women out there. Happy International Women's Day. And to coincide with this day, I mean, our guests for tonight are two women who are accomplished, both lovely, interesting, and they're both women of substance. And our topic for tonight is women of substance. I'd like to introduce the first guest, immediately to my left. She is a member of the Philippine News Agency, speaks Spanish very fluently, Spanish teacher. She's also in media and education. She also was involved in diplomatic affairs as a translator, analyst, and many, many more. Plus, if you're wondering why she's wearing a uniform, she's also a reservist, currently now a Master Sergeant, but soon to be a Major. Please welcome Master Sergeant Pia Roses Morato.
Good evening. Thank
Good
you,
evening.
Tonino. Thank you for having me.
And to her left is a psychologist, used to be a news reader, also in media before, was a model. I knew her when she was still a model, long time ago. She's in sales. She was in sales with the Ayala Group, and now an entrepreneur. Let's welcome Patty Manuel Go. Good evening, Patty. It's good to see you.
Hi, Tonino. Thank you for having me. Very
Well,
good to be here.
I'm sure the guests, I mean, our audience is really interested to find out more about these two lovely guests that we have tonight. And we'll start with Pia. Pia, why are you wearing a uniform?
Because my commander said so. No, but yes, as you mentioned, Tonino, I'm part of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. I'm a reservist, okay, and that's why I'm wearing my uniform today, so that I may invite everyone else who would want to join the reserve forces to come and join us.
The first thing that goes to my mind is, did you really go through training? Did you really go through marching under the hot sun and the jungle training, the firing and all of that?
Believe it or not, I did. Yes, I did.
Did they give you any special treatment?
No. Okay, my bosses are here and they know that. They did not give me any special treatment. I really went through everything like everyone else. But I have to also mention that I'm not as tough as everyone else, but they're my mates. I love them, and, we're one team.
Okay, Patty, let's go to you.
Yes.
You've had a very interesting career, shifting from one field to the other. You started out as maybe that was you were a model at that time, but you were able to maintain your figure.
Thank you, I think.
And now you finished psychology, took a master's degree in psychology. You had a psychology clinic. But I think the one that really gave you the financial capability was your ability to sell.
That's true, yes.
And how did your training as a model and as a psychologist help you in your ability to sell?
Actually, being a psychologist, I think, was the most helpful because it really taught me to not take rejection personally, which is something you really need in sales because you're going to get that endlessly in the beginning when you're still starting, to build up your client base, when you have to man in the booths, give flyers, and I did that, give flyers in the malls, do all that stuff. So, knowing that my self-esteem did not depend on whether people took my flyers from me or not, it made me able to just keep focused on what my goals were. I was lucky because I joined Ayala when we were seeding for the good times.
Right.
So when the market got really good,
so you were able to ride
I was very much
wave.
able to ride, the waves.
And then you got a lot of awards from Ayala and made a lot of money. I would presume.
I wouldn't want to say that, especially not on TV.
Okay.
No, but it was a very rewarding career. I'm so glad I did.
So what does humility have to do with being able to sell? You said that you were manning the booths.
Yeah.
You had to take rejection.
Yes, yes. You have to learn to take rejection. You have to just realize that if you have a goal, you just keep your eye on the prize. You just keep on working at it. And it helps also to visualize. Sometimes I'd visualize myself receiving an award. Because when I joined the Yalalan, my brother was the one who was
Right.
receiving all the awards. And I was like, I want to be like him, someday. And it helped, I would look at the people I admired in sales.
Since it's International Women's Day, I'd like to ask both of you, is it important to have financial independence as a woman?
Oh my gosh.
Maybe I can ask Pia first.
Yes, I think so. I mean, well, I've been independent as a single mother, and I have 2 grown children, and I really do feel that it's important to have your own money and growth. No, it establishes also your growth as a woman, as a mother, and you think of your future. So yes, I do think that's very important.
What about you, Patty?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Financially empowering women means that they have more. They just grow as people because they don't have to keep asking somebody all the time. They have to make decisions also about their finances. This is for women either if they're single mothers or not even. I think it's always very important for a woman to have her own little properties. Maybe they don't have to be like land or whatever, but have your own folio of
You
your
share
assets.
something in common, both of you, because both of you are single parents. And how did you deal with um, the separation from your partner? Was it devastating, and how did you move on from that experience?
Yeah. Well, it's painful.
Yeah.
I'm sure other women would say the same.
Is it as painful as being a reserve officer and going through that
It's
training?
a different kind of pain.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of pain, but you learn to deal with pain.
Yeah.
And pain teaches you a lot. So I guess that's what helps you, or that's what motivates you, right? Pain can be a great motivator. And in my life, I mean, it's an experience, it's a teacher for me. So I grew from that as well.
I just want to correct the single mother aspect because my children have always been supported by their dad.
Okay.
But in terms of, becoming emotionally independent and that aspect of it, that was always something that challenged me, but I really grew and became a better person because of what I went through. And a lot of it was because I depended on God for
Okay.
all of that.
That's actually my next question. Where do you get your strength to
Yes.
move forward? Because I think that's a very important aspect, and many women out there who are suffering or who are going through challenges, they have to draw on some strength. And where does that strength come from?
I mean, like what Patty said, and it's a very important thing, to mention that, well, for me, I couldn't have done it without God
Yeah.
and the support of my family. So you draw it from all the faith that you have and the trust that you have in a higher being, and that person will stick around for you no matter what and help you get through everything. So it's one challenge after another, but you know that there's that constant figure there that won't leave you.
Can you describe the process of moving on, if there is one? Is there a process of moving on from the depression and then being confident again and then moving on? Is there a process, or it just happens and then one day you wake up and then I forget everything and I move forward?
I guess it depends on the kind of person that you are. I happen to be one person also that decides that I'm not gonna die with without my boots on, right? So I decide every day that to take a day at a time, to be brave, a day at a time, right? And that's how you move forward. That you just take it one day at a time and face whatever battle there is that you have to face.
Do you have the same experience, Patty?
I think so, yeah. I I believe that God really works all things for good in your life if you allow Him to. So I think the the thing you really need to do is just to surrender where you are at that time, not to become bitter, and just to say, okay, well, this didn't work out, but what's next? You know, there's always some new prospect, new adventure that can happen in your life.
If you were to give advice to women who have reached that stage in their life where they have to move forward from a problem, what would you advise them? How would you advise them?
Well, that you're not alone.
Okay.
You're
Yeah.
never alone.
Definitely.
And first, you have God, but you also have people that probably went through the same experiences that you have. You have your family, you have your friends, there are support groups, and to never be afraid or ashamed to ask for help. That's very important. That we humble ourselves, you know, if we need help, we should ask, and that there are people out there who will help us.
Patty, your advice for people who want to move on, move forward?
I agree a lot with what Pia said. And I guess what I would add is that aside from not being afraid to ask for help, we should also take everything as a learning experience. Like I had to literally reinvent myself at the age of 43. You know, that's when I joined the Ayala land, and everyone else in Ayala was like 20 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Probably like young enough to be my child, right? But I just, I took it as an opportunity, and I just surrendered myself to it. And then that's when I realized I actually had a lot of advantages being older than most of them, because I knew the people who were buying, whereas they would have to go through their parents, sorry, the parents of their friends or other things like that. So I did have quite a few advantages, because they don't typically hire people my age for that job. It's usually younger people.
Well, because you agreed to be my guest here, I'm going to both give you a gift certificate to a resort called Sage Leaf Hotel in Camp Canawan, and we'll show the video, and then we'll go for a break.
Oh,
And then,
wow.
Wow.
please
Thank
don't
you.
go away. A lot of things to be discussed. Please show the video. Welcome back to Libertas. This is Tonino Abana with our lovely guests tonight, Women of Substance. That's our topic. And we have Master Sergeant Pia Roses Morato and Patty Manuel Go. There's a saying that the best thing to wear for a woman is confidence. And
True.
is that, so you agree with
That's
that?
That's true.
So
I mean, clothes help too, of course.
Yeah.
how do you develop that confidence? How do you gain that confidence?
Experience
Experience.
Yeah.
also, helps. I guess it teaches you, and that's how you gain confidence. But acceptance as you get older, you just be comfortable in your own skin, and you realize that this is who you are, and your goal is to be your authentic self. I guess that's the way, the path to confidence.
What about you, Patty? Is it?
Yeah, I agree with what Pia said. I just like to add that the experience of being loved unconditionally for who you are, I think is a big factor. And rarely you can get that from people, but I think you get it most from God, from experiencing His love.
So we have a couple of texters already. This text is from Richard of Mandaluyong. Respect, equality, salute to all Filipinas. And please ask our guests, what is the key to being a strong woman? So that's one question. What's the key to being strong?
Well, there's something about being afraid that kind of helps also you face life. And I guess like if you just understand that it comes with the territory, things that you can't control or things that you didn't expect, eventually you realize that it all adds up to who you are, and that's how you become stronger.
Patty, what about normally you build up strength with the challenges that you go through as a woman, and you mentioned that you had to reinvent yourself at the age of 43.
Yes.
But to reach from that point up to 43, you had to. That's a long time to build up your strength and reinvent yourself. How did you do that?
Well, the expression, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? I do believe that. Going through things that you never thought you could handle and then realizing that you handled them, I think is a big factor. We're very lucky in the Philippines because we have a big support group as women. We have our families, our friends, we have helpers. We take all of this for granted. But definitely, like if you had told me what I was going to be doing in my life before it happened, I would have said, no way. But when
so
it happens,
really
you just go through
couldn't predict what will happen.
Yeah. But as you go on, like she said, take it one day at a time. That's also a good way. But always know that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
There are a couple of issues that are that will be decided by Congress and Senate very soon, and I'd like your opinion on that. One is the pending divorce law. Are you in favor of divorce in the Philippines?
Yes.
You are. You are.
Yes. In the sense that I understand, from what I understand, it would make it easier, especially for the women who do not have the financial means, to start over, right, as an independent woman, right? Because to get an annulment in court also costs money, a lot of money sometimes. And I understand with a divorce bill, it'll ease things or make it easier for, well, maybe not just women, but for couples, who just want to already lead their own lives, right?
Are you in favor of divorce, Patty?
You know what? I'm still kind of on the fence about it because I do understand the need for women to have equitable settlements. It's so hard to enforce. Actually, even in countries where they have divorce, it's still hard to enforce support and things like that. But on the other hand, I just look at the escalating divorce rates all over the world. I actually think that they should make it much more, I don't want to say difficult, but they should. It's too easy to get married. It's way too easy to get married.
It would also make
there
you
should be
think,
more
right?
Yeah, they should make
Before
you
you
think.
get married.
Yeah.
Right. Pia, what really made you decide to join the reservists? Because you've got two boys. I mean, and then you have a full-time career with PNA. You have your other activities with the Spanish Embassy, with the DFA and Instituto Cervantes. But then you devote so much time in becoming a reservist. Why did you do that? Why?
Well, for two reasons.
Yeah?
My work, I felt that national defense, people in our countries should understand that national defense is a very important matter and that we all need to participate in protecting our country. And from all the work that I've done in government, it really made me realize that I have to be part of national defense. I need to be part of protecting my own country.
But did you learn anything from the training? You mentioned several weeks of Saturdays of training. Did you learn anything of significance, of importance in your training?
Oh yes, humility.
Humility.
Very much so. Like, you know, in the armed forces of the Philippines, no one is special. We are one. You know, we're one and the same. Right? We're not treated, no one's treated better than the other. And you realize how having only each other amounts to so much, right? And that's very humbling because you learn from one another, right? And you also learn that you have your own limitations. Especially me, I learned so much about my own limitations at the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and that's truly very grounding. It's very grounding, and of course, it's humbling.
In your career, Patty, what was the most difficult thing to overcome, or is there a difficult portion or aspect that you had to overcome in order to achieve what you wanted to achieve in selling, and eventually we'll go into your business after that?
Right. Well, the thing with sales is you're essentially meant to be very self-motivating. You have to you have to drive your sales yourself. You have to basically create something out of nothing, because first there was nobody thinking about buying, and then you find them and you get them to do so.
Do you feel that being a woman is a disadvantage or an advantage in sales, or it's just the same?
It's kind of an advantage, I think, in some ways. People tend to be nicer to women.
Right.
It kind of opens doors sometimes. But, you know, I mean, everyone in sales has experienced like waiting for hours and the client didn't show up. Or, you know, you call and then I'm so used to people not replying to me now because of being in sales.
Okay.
Because you text so many people and then they don't reply to you. Maybe they'll reply like the next day, or so essentially you get used to that sort of.
So now you've transitioned from doing sales into your own business, which is an apparel line. Can you tell us a little bit about your apparel line, Patty?
Yes, happily. So it's called the Shape Shop.
Yes.
Because you're supposed to shop for your best shape. I started it when I was, that's one of our accessories, which is made from all recycled materials,
Okay.
because we try also to be sustainable in our approach to what we make. So anyway, that bra is also made from 100% recycled materials.
Wow.
Those are our retazos. Yeah, I'm very proud of that design. I really like that a lot.
So you also design.
Yes, I do.
So you design, and it's all locally made.
Yes, all made in our
It looks
shop
very
in-
comfortable. I mean.
Yes, it is very comfortable. I make sure to work out in everything before it goes to production. I make sure that
So
we
where
try
can
it
they
out.
find this apparel?
We have a website which is called Shape Shop Active. We're also available in Aura Athletica, which is a curated activewear store in Rockwell on the second floor. And we're available in ROX in the High Street.
And what you're wearing now, the blouse is
Yes,
also.
this is also Shape Shop, yeah. This is our travel line naman. It started because I saw my youngest sister, we were in the US, and she kept wearing her Shape Shop clothes every day. And I was like, don't you have any other clothes? Why do you keep wearing that? And she said, it's so easy kasi to wash, it doesn't get crinkled and whatever. So I was like, I think I have an idea for a new line.
Is that comfortable wearing the? It's comfortable
That's a good
wearing
question.
the camouflage uniform.
It takes a lot of getting used to, but it's more than comfort. It's a reminder. It's a reminder for me of who I am and what I represent. So.
Well, you mentioned you come from a long line of soldiers. Basically, that's the reason why one of the reasons why you joined. Can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration, your
My
abuelos?
biggest inspiration, well, of course, like on my father's side, the Moratos side, my grandfather Tomas was the first chief of police of Quezon City, so I'm proud of that. Although maybe I outrank him wherever he is right now because I'm in the military, and my biggest inspiration is my Lolo Peping Roses, who is a national war hero and a naval commander. So I will never outrank him.
I think we have a photo of you saluting him.
Yes.
And maybe if they can find that photo, that's such a cute photo. What was the context of the photo?
Well, my grandfather always,
there he is.
always, yeah, you know, that makes my family and I so emotional because my grandfather spent a lot of time, you know, in the wilderness or in the jungles during
World War
the
II.
war.
Yeah.
World War II with his brothers, my Lolo Liling Roses, who was also actually killed in action. But my grandfather told me a lot of war stories, what they went through as a family, and that's really tough, you know. And I always thought that one day I wanted to be just like him, because it comes full circle when you're not just a citizen of this country, but also a protector of your own country, that you love your country so much, you're willing to die for your country. And that's why I wanted to be just like him, because that's what he was, that's who he was, right, back then. He's still alive, he's 97 years old,
wow.
And God's good to him, right? But thank God, because he has all these stories to tell, and if not, then I wouldn't have him as an inspiration.
Maybe we can have him as a guest here in the show as well.
I hope so.
Tell the war stories.
I know.
I think a lot of people will be very interested in that too.
Yes, I do really admire him and the sacrifices that he made. So it's a difficult journey, but you know, it made him who he is today.
We'll be going for the break, but before we go for the break, I'd like to ask you this question and kind of keep it hanging. Is it necessary for a woman to have a man to feel complete? Don't go away, this is Tonino Abana. Your answer after the break.
Good question.
Welcome back to Libertas. This is Tonino Abana with our special guest. It's International Women's Day today. And my question before the break is, do you need to have a man in order for a woman to feel complete?
Starting with me?
You're in the hot seat.
Okay, well, I think every woman needs to complete herself first before she actually, thinks of having a man. It's to be in a relationship, it's two-way. I'm sure a man will also want to be with a confident, independent woman. So, do that for yourself first, and then find that, or not find, or the right man. Well, I think you will eventually attract the right man, and then you're complete. Diba?
Don't tell me it's the same.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, you should not come to someone expecting them to complete you and make you happy.
Okay.
You have to be happy already, and then you go through your lives together, separate journeys, but you're making the journey side by side. And I think that's also, men shouldn't do it too. I think some men also try to find women to complete them. It's not
so it's
gender
not just one way.
specific.
Yeah. That's true.
And how do you keep young? I think a lot of people are wondering. We're not going to disclose your age here, but how do you keep young? Maybe we can start with Patty. Question.
Okay, don't laugh, but I actually work out my face.
You do?
I do. It's called face aerobics.
Face aerobics, okay.
Face aerobics. It's on YouTube.
Face aerobics, okay.
Yeah, it
So
makes sense, right? Because you never exercise your face.
So you exercise the muscles in your face so that you it doesn't sag or you don't get wrinkles. Maybe I should
Hopefully,
try that.
yeah.
So does it work?
I think it works.
And how many? Maybe can you give us one sample of?
No.
No. You do it in front of the mirror.
But you can watch it on YouTube. It's a channel, Face Robics.
Face Robics.
It was invented by this Australian woman named Pita. And it's galing because you can see her getting younger as she does the videos.
Wow.
Yeah, she looked so old when she started it.
Face Robics. So
Yeah.
that's a good tip. I should look at that.
I don't know. I don't do anything.
You don't do anything. You just rely on genes.
I think I have good genes. My mom's beautiful.
Yeah.
So thank God I have a beautiful mom.
Well, if we can flash a photo of her and her mom, you'll see how beautiful.
She's more
her
beautiful
mom is.
than me. So, well, I think I got her genes. So.
Do you believe in surgical enhancement for the face or for the body?
No, I do not.
You do not.
I do not. I mean, I don't want to be afraid of getting older. I want to be able to embrace that actually and just grow old gracefully, although it's hard, I know, because your body changes, right? And a lot of women my age feel the same way as I do, but I guess it's acceptance. I'm just trying to go, with the flow.
Patty, do you believe in or?
No, that's why I spend 15 minutes every day working out my face.
Well, I'll give you these gift certificates from a holistic medical aesthetics clinic called Vine. It's 2,500 worth of. It's called the Lift and Tight Multipolar. So I'll give one to you.
Wow, thank you.
So they have one clinic in BGC and one clinic in Manila and one
Thank you
clinic.
so much.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, this isn't naman invasive, di ba?
No,
We can
it's not
do this.
invasive. It's not invasive at
Now
all.
I can finally do
Thank you.
something.
What do your kids tell you when they see you in uniform and you training and what do they say?
My kids and a lot of people on Facebook are like, "Oh my gosh, is this Rambo Barbie?" No, but yeah, I know my children are really proud of me because they know me. They know that I work so hard for everything. So that part of me, they know that I'm really dedicated. But it's still funny. Of course, I'm their mom, so it's still funny to them when they see me like this. They know they're proud, but of course they also laugh at me like, "Oh my gosh."
Did you
that's what I
seek their
said.
consent when you decided to enlist?
No.
No, you just did it on your own.
I just did.
I heard you just walked in at Camp Aguinaldo and then everyone got shocked and I want to enlist.
Yes. Actually, I'd like to say hello to my commander, our commander at the Armed Forces, Reserve Forces. I just walked in literally and they were all in a meeting,
I
all
think we
these
have a photo
generals
of
in
that
a meeting.
when everyone got shocked. She walked in, this
white girl.
this white doña walking in and saying, "I want to enlist."
Yes. And I know that I really surprised my commander, but he also says that he was very touched by what I did. I never knew that until my graduation day, that he said he was really very touched with what I did, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Well, it's very.
He's taught me a lot. He's
Yeah.
very brave and
I
kind.
saw a photo of you in formation. You really stand out. I mean, there's a photo of you there.
I stand out everywhere, but thank God for my mates. They also, I have to say, they taught me so much as well. And I am who I am at the Armed Forces because of my commanders, my commanding officers who are here right now as well, and my mates.
Good-looking gentleman there in a suit.
Yes.
That's General Buan. I
Thank you,
interviewed
General
him here.
Juan.
Yeah, amazing story.
Yes.
Medal of
I
Valor.
did. I mean, I watched that,
Yeah.
and you'll never think that this person is who he is. I never knew that about him.
Yeah.
Because the whole time, when you talk to General Buan, he's, just commending you and giving you support, but he never talks about himself, right? So I guess it boils down again to what we learned at the Reserve Forces, which is to stay humble, right? And my mentors over there are exactly that.
Patty, I went through your photos and I dug up this photo of you and your dad when you were still a baby. And
Oh, you did?
how much, I don't
The
know if you can
dangers of
show that.
Facebook.
Yeah, and how much influence did he have on your life and, as a inspiration to you growing up and when you have challenges in life?
Oh, well, both of my parents were really an inspiration to me. My mom unfortunately passed away in
Right.
2009. But my dad is, well, he was always a corporate guy. So very hardworking, very ethical. I think that's one of the key values he passed on to us children. It's more about your name. Your good name is the most valuable thing you can possess, more than money.
And you've lived by that.
I
all
like to
your life.
think so, yeah.
And you feel that you made him proud with what you've achieved.
I think so, because he always announces stuff to his friends, and I
Okay.
don't want him to announce. So I think so, yeah.
And it's same with you. I mean, you come from a long line of, well-known families in Manila, actually, in Quezon, and the Moratos and the. Did you actually get to meet Tomas Morato?
No,
Oh,
never.
you never met him.
Never. My father is the youngest
Okay.
of 10 children. So even he lost his own father at a very young age. I think he was only 14 at that time. So you can imagine what it was like also for my father. But I know all the stories, and I'm so proud of all the stories that I've heard about my Lola Tomas. And of course, he's an inspiration also to me because my Lola Tomas was also very brave. And hearing stories like that, you feel like you just want to
He
be
was
like
he was
that. He's
actually
tough.
born
He
in
was
Spain, right?
Yes, he was born
He
in
was a
Javia,
Spaniard.
Javia, Alicante, Javia.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he became Filipino.
Right.
He was naturalized. He wanted to be Filipino. Of course, my abuela's from Quezon, so pure Filipina from Calawag, Quezon. I was very close to her, although she's also passed away. And all the stories that I know about my Lord Tomas and what happened in Quezon City, those are treasures for me, and my family, of course. And on the Rosas side, of course, we have our Lola Piping, who tells us,
He's a wonderful
teaches
man.
us so many
Yeah.
things as well. I'm very fortunate for that.
Well, we're about to end the show. It's like 4 or 5 minutes left, and I'd like to give this opportunity for you to give your advice, or a lot of audience, a lot of text messages I can't read because there's just too many. So, yeah, maybe we can start with you, Patty. Um, your parting words, advice to the
Parting
audience,
words.
if you want to greet anyone.
Oh, okay. Parting words. I guess I would just like to say to all our fellow women, happy Us Day. And I know we still have a long way to go in our country and in the world for women to really be equal with men, but then at the same time, I think we're not really equal because we're different, but equal, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah, so my message would be that we just need to have more compassion, I think, for each other, more empathy, and just look at each other as human beings, see how we can get along.
Happy Women's Day to all the women, all the Filipino women out there, especially. I mean, we're all made of different stuff, right? But we're women, and it's nice to be empowered also. So I want to thank also my family. I guess it's the one thing that I would like to share with others is that your family is the unit, that really helps you become who you are. And don't take it for granted, because that's where you're going to get all the love and the support that you will need, especially in the hardest times in your life.
Well, maybe as a parting message for me, Eleanor Roosevelt said that a woman is like a tea bag, you can only see how strong she is until you drop it in the hot water. So I think women who have gone through many things in life, women who have overcome challenges, and and like what you've gone through, I mean, in your life, just become stronger and become a better part of society.
Yes.
That's
And
That's the goal.
that's the goal.
That's awesome.
And
That's the
we,
goal.
we really hope that we have more women like you who will contribute positively to this society, to the country, to the Philippines,
Yes.
with whatever endeavors you do. So with that thought, I'd like to thank both of you for being my guests tonight. And
Thank you
all the
for having
televiewers,
us.
Thank you
salamat
for
sa mga
having us.
nanonood dyan. Manood kayo ng Libertas. This is Tonino Habana, and I'd like to sign off from here. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat.